The last train of the night cut through the rain-soaked city, neon lights blurring past the windows. I sat alone, or so I thought, the rhythmic clatter of the wheels echoing my exhaustion. The emptiness felt heavier than usual, shadows flickering under the harsh fluorescent lights. I tried to lose myself in a book, but unease crept in, a chill that felt like it came from within. The train pressed on, carrying me deeper into the night, and towards something unseen. When I opened my eyes, he was there, seated across from me, silent and still. I hadn't heard him enter. His presence was unsettling, his face ageless, his eyes ancient and fixed on me. He watched with unnerving focus, as if seeing through me. I looked away, but his reflection hovered over my shoulder in the window, a ghostly overlay. The air thickened with tension. I was frozen, pinned by his calm, knowing gaze. He didn't blink, he didn't speak. The silence between us was a question I was afraid to answer. He finally spoke, his voice soft and gentle, carrying a weight that made me pause. "You dropped your ticket." There was something in his tone, a quiet certainty, as if he knew more than he let on. Instinctively I checked my pocket. My ticket was there, crisp and real beneath my fingers. I almost laughed, relieved, but his eyes told me this wasn't about the ticket I held. "Not that one," he said, his gaze unwavering. "The blue one. From when you were 7. The carousel at the state fair." His words painted a memory I hadn't thought of in years. The memory hit me with unexpected force. A lost blue ticket, childhood tears, the sting of disappointment, a moment I'd buried so deep I'd almost convinced myself it never happened. He smiled, a knowing, almost secretive smile. "I remember everything you've forgotten," he whispered, as if sharing a confidence meant only for me. He named my first pet, the goldfish I'd loved and lost, and revealed the secret of the replacement goldfish my parents never told me about. He spoke of tiny shames and hidden moments I'd locked away, things I'd hidden even from myself. Each word he spoke cracked my reality a little more, splintering the safe walls I'd built around my memories. This stranger wasn't just recounting memories. He was unearthing secrets I thought were lost forever, details I'd never shared with anyone, not even in my own thoughts. Fear twisted inside me, sharp and cold, but it quickly deepened into something else. Dread. Dread of what else he might know, of what other forgotten truths he could reveal. The train rattled on through the night, and I felt exposed, as if every secret I'd ever kept was suddenly visible, as if I was the one on display beneath the flickering lights. Memories came faster now, some spoken aloud, others summoned by a fleeting glance or a half-remembered scent. It was as if the past had been waiting for the right moment to break through, flooding my mind with fragments I thought I'd left behind. Childhood fears resurfaced, visions of a face with too many eyes lurking in the basement, and a man with no shadow, who always seemed to follow me home, his presence lingering just out of sight. I'd always dismissed these terrors as nothing more than nightmares, the wild inventions of a frightened child. But now, in the stillness, they felt disturbingly real, as if they'd been waiting for me to remember. The stranger seemed to peel back the layers of my mind, exposing impossible truths I'd hidden even from myself, truths that twisted everything I thought I knew. The train car became a cage, its walls closing in, reality itself cracking at the edges as the world I trusted began to dissolve. Monsters I'd forgotten pressed in from the dark, their shapes shifting and growing more real with every passing second, feeding on my uncertainty. My rational world was a fragile illusion, as delicate as glass, shattering with every new revelation and every memory that clawed its way to the surface. He was showing me the rot beneath the wallpaper, the hidden decay that had always been there, festering just out of sight, waiting to be revealed. In that moment I realized I'd been lucky, or perhaps cursed, to have forgotten for so long. Now with the truth exposed, there was no turning back. "Forgetting is a mercy," he said, his voice echoing off the empty platform, "but a flawed one. I can give it all back." His words hung in the damp air, heavy with promise and threat, as if the night itself was listening. He offered his hand, palm open, waiting. I didn't know if I agreed, or if I even understood what I was agreeing to, but somehow in that moment I consented. My own hand trembled as it reached for his, drawn by a force I couldn't name. He closed his fist around mine. The floodgates opened, and a torrent of sensation and memory surged through me, unstoppable and wild. I remembered everything, childhood joys and terrors, the warmth of my mother's embrace, the sting of old betrayals, ancient histories whispered in forgotten tongues, cosmic events unfolding in the vastness of space, things no human should know or even glimpse. Every secret, every sorrow, every fleeting happiness returned in a rush. The train dissolved into a vortex of memory and time, its windows flickering with scenes from 1,000 lives, each one both familiar and impossibly distant. I was 7, I was ancient, I was everyone and no one. Faces shifted in the glass, ages and identities blurring together until I could no longer tell where I ended and the rest of humanity began. The stranger was not a man, but the archivist of all forgotten things, a keeper of memories lost and discarded, standing sentinel at the edge of oblivion. The train screeched to a halt, metal grinding against metal. "This is your stop," he said, his eyes reflecting every life I'd ever lived. I stumbled onto the platform, overwhelmed by the weight of memory, my mind reeling with the enormity of what I now carried. The world seemed sharper, more vivid, and unbearably heavy. The rain had stopped, but I felt every drop that had ever fallen, each one a memory, a story, a life. The air was thick with echoes of the past, and I could taste the sorrow and hope of generations. The train pulled away, its lights vanishing into the darkness. He was gone, but not really. His presence lingered, woven into the fabric of my thoughts. He lived inside my head now, a permanent echo, a whisper in every silent moment, a shadow behind every memory. The terror never ends. Now I remember everything, and I wonder if forgetting was the greater gift after all.